The first explorer live on Twitch together with Sebastian Buchwald, the solo developer from Baden-Württemberg. Hello, Sebastian. Hello, Writing Bull, and let's continue here. We haven't built that much yet. We sent a few soldiers here and had them come along, and let's see how things go from here. The red symbol probably means the storage is full because there are no storage buildings yet, right?
Exactly, so its output stack is full, 8 out of 8. That's why he's relaxing right now.
Does the cook always automatically cook everything that's possible, or do you have to assign things individually?
He basically cooks whatever is currently available at the market stalls.
All right. So what are the next steps? Definitely more residential buildings, and what else?
A few residential buildings would be nice. And apart from that, yeah, we could also slowly start producing weapons.
Yeah, we also want to briefly say hello to our neighbors. Does the AI have no value at the moment up to the maximum while it's building its weapons and troops? Or do we have to worry that the map is half spammed?
No, at the moment I've still more or less predetermined which buildings it constructs. I've specified which basic buildings it builds. And within that framework, it will move around a bit. And that means, well, depending on, we'll see how he managed to recruit a few soldiers and defend himself. But you won't encounter a huge settlement with hundreds of soldiers there if the current development is correct.
Then I'm relieved. Is the field size up front at the farm enough? I think it should be, right?
That's enough.
We would even have enough. We could even build a second farm if necessary, but we don't need to. There's a problem with the collector's hut up front.
It can't find more berries in its area. Everything was likely just harvested.
I've also marked out such a huge area here. Can I remove it again? No.
You can remove it again in the middle. There at the eraser, exactly. If you press there, it resets the workspace. But there are no more berries here, so you could tear that down too.
Okay. I'm still looking for big ones, since we need more space to expand. And now I'll let you spoil it for me with your map knowledge, where starting from our state settlement, is there a larger empty area, a spot where we could build?
What do you need the space for, or what's your idea?
I feel like I'm always a bit cramped by the cups, and I want to build a lot more residential houses, and I think for recruiting soldiers you'll need a whole lot more stuff too.
We'll need a whole lot of stuff for that, yeah. So if you head from here basically towards the northeast, you should be able to find some good areas there.
So over here like this?
Yeah, right there. Then you might have to see if we need another lumberjack to cut down 1 or 2 trees, because the map is designed so that there's not really any area where there's absolutely nothing. You'll need to pay some attention there.
See where we can still place the tower. He can't build on red, that's probably too steep, right?
Yeah, you can already build. You were just over the hatched areas, you can't build there because there are cliffs or rocks. Exactly. Otherwise you can build here.
Install it once. And I'll set the speed a bit ahead to double. And then we'll build a few houses along the way.
That would be good, yes.
There's quite a bit of space there now, so you can put several of them in a row.
We can also discuss the settlement's appeal now, yes?
Go ahead.
Exactly. If you can place the residential houses here in the area of the tavern, exactly. And there is also the settlement's attractiveness, and you can level up there as well. You can see the value at the top of the UI to the right of the Hamlet text. There's an icon there, a 1. It also shows how many more residential houses you need within the radius of a tavern to level up. And then you also get bonuses, because I haven't mentioned this yet. When you build a residential house, you also get a handful of settlers who immediately come out of the house. But right now, that's only about 2 or 3. But if you increase your attractiveness, then it will basically become more and more. It's really worthwhile to build a residential building, and later you might suddenly get 15 sponsors at once. And beyond that, there are also other bonuses that attractiveness brings. For one, that in the tavern, more settlers can eat their meals at the same time, or at the harbor, you can get more settlers from a single shipment at once. Because the neutral ship that sails the map needs a certain amount of time. I mean, on this map, it takes about 7 to 8 minutes for one round trip. And you can recruit new settlers there for copper coins. And the higher the attractiveness of your settlement, the more settlers you can recruit at once with a single trip.
So up here in the front, we've expanded further. The tower is almost finished. I think I'll bring our soldiers back. We'll need them to man the towers.
Exactly, that's why I designed it so that the soldiers in that area can man the tower. By the way, everything has leveled up in settlement attractiveness.
I was really startled by that loud noise.
Yes, that can still be improved.
I flinched for a moment.
Right, what I actually wanted to say was at the beginning of development, it was still the case that the soldiers were basically pulled from anywhere on the map to man the tower. But of course, that's a problem if you're exploring the map the way you just did. Then maybe you want to keep the soldiers standing there, maybe as scouts to see if the enemy comes by or not. And that's why I decided that it should only affect that area. You'll get a notification on the left saying a soldier is needed.
Let's spread out a bit more here. There's plenty of space here, as Sebastian already mentioned. Overall, the landscape is very hilly and already has a lot going on. Not just a flat surface with a few trees painted on it, but a very varied map that's not so easy to build on. Alright, great. There are some problems here with a cook who supposedly doesn't have a market stall nearby. But the bread market, the bread alone would be enough too, right? Or is bread an alternative? Is bread an alternative, or do you need bread and the berries together?
You need bread and the staple foods, exactly. So where do I see
New berries on the map?
You could basically attach a berry collector to your mouse pointer and then take a look around, maybe go to the left as well. There might be a few more berries on the left, then you'll see an icon exactly. Maybe you'll see it. There are 45 berries.
Now we're going to build a residential house there, sorry, a tower. Those are the berry symbols.
Those are the berries. If you turn the tower, then maybe it will fit there too, a little further. Yes, exactly. Great.
Great. All right, perfect. Aren't many residential buildings still missing?
No, you have enough residential buildings. You have 139 beds and 99 settlers, so it's fine.
Great. Well then, how are you approaching weapons production?
So for weapons production, we need copper, which you've already arranged, but we also need hardwood and hardwood handles, which are made from hardwood. And of course, we also need a toolmaker and a barracks.
La la la, let's start with the hardwood. Where can we get it?
Hardwood, you've actually already gotten a bit of it on the side because the forester by default plants both softwood and hardwood trees, and the lumberjack also cuts down hardwood by default. If you click on a lumberjack or just zoom in on the lumberjack, you'll see that he already has hardwood logs. They're lying in the output stack of the lumberjack. That's where the logs are. And now we can process them into wooden handles in the wood turner. In English, that's wood turner. And those are in the middle of the categories for production buildings at that icon.
Here, all right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a word I've never heard before, wood turner. So, and short distances near the wood, you could come here. Will the berries grow back here? I already asked you. They won't grow back anymore. We had them for too long.
They won't grow back anymore
Because
they're completely gone. Yeah.
the distances are so short we don't even need roads.
The roads are optional, yeah.
That's where the lumberjack goes. And then you said we should build a barracks and a smith or a weapons manufacturer.
Yeah, maker, exactly, a weapons maker.
Let's put you right next to it in front. Right here in the front, we've expanded the area so we can gather new berries there. Matze is asking in the chat whether roads are just for looks or if they actually have any significance.
The roads are actually important because they give a speed bonus. That means if you want to go for efficiency and have spare builders, it definitely makes sense to build roads. Unless you just don't like roads and would rather have an anthill, that's possible too. I deliberately chose a compromise there because the settlers community is kind of divided on that, if you can put it that way. Players of the Settlers 1 and 2 always liked roads, of course, because roads were important there, but in Settlers 3 and 4 there were no roads, so footpaths formed instead. And I basically decided on a mix of both, so you can choose what you want to do. Whether you play with roads or without roads, both have their pros and cons.
So can't either. Where was it again?
It was by that one right here.
Then let's put it next to the other buildings up here. Are there actually towers that shoot at other people? I don't think so, right? No.
Next, I'm gonna add archers that you'll get at the village level, and then you can just put archers in your watchtowers and they'll be able to shoot at enemies.
Up front, we can now collect new berries. Well, I'm getting defense. It's all good. Barracks is being built.
You should take a look at the top left of the UI. You can see that your wood is a bit low. I mean, you have a red number. We need to check what's going on with the sawmill.
So the forester can't do more because he's already planted enough. Also, it serves as an ice cutter at the front. He actually has enough wood, right?
You have, I think you deleted the work area. No, earlier you set the work area to that one tree on the left.
Do you remember? That's right.
That's why it didn't continue. Exactly. Now he's running, look, the lumberjack. And now there are also logs again, then planks, and then we can keep building.
All right. So this is the barracks. It's finished now, and now we could reduce troops if we had the appropriate weapons for it. That's the hardwood maker. It works automatically, right?
It works automatically, exactly. The barracks aren't finished yet. The barracks are still under construction. You can see that too. Basically, it doesn't have a roof yet. That's still missing.
And the green health bar isn't full yet. Yeah, everything is still under construction, and that's the weaponsmith. It wasn't quite finished yet.
They're really waiting for wood.
Right.
Meanwhile, I still have a bit, right, they're waiting for wood. While you were gone, I answered a few questions, and I also mentioned that there are these construction animations. That means if you zoom in on the barracks again, you'll see I added some details that you can only see during the construction animation. For example, on the second floor of the barracks, you can see a table with 4 chairs on the right side exactly. That's only visible during the construction animation, just a small detail.
Does it happen often that you add things like that, which most people might not even notice, but that just give you a bit of joy?
I just thought, especially for situations like the one we're having right now, it's definitely worth it. I also think that's just a great detail, and I think people appreciate it when you put so much love into the details. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can, it seems like it's the wood that's causing everything to be a bit difficult right now.
Right, the work area wasn't set.
Would it be worth it to make a second wood delivery already so that the shop keeps running?
Definitely.
He could work right here next to it or back here. By then, will we already have it? Is that within our boundaries? Barely.
That's within the boundaries, but that's mostly hardwood. But we need softwood for the building materials, so it makes sense to put the lumberjack near the forester. In general, it's actually pretty good to have 2 lumberjacks, 1 forester, and a sawmill together if you can find a spot here. Okay?
You said 2 lumberjacks with 1 sawmill, right? Or with 2 sawmills?
2 lumberjacks, a sawmill, and a forester make the ideal combination.
I think we first need to cut down some trees here so I can even place the thing anywhere.
The forester has already done a great job.
Just start here, it doesn't matter.
Yes, that's fine.
Click there once, and then we'll draw the workspace here.
Perfect. Do you think we should offer fish as an alternative?
Gladly. Is that possible now? Do we have beach access by now or just a pretty waterfall?
I think you don't have to look that far away if we go back to our starting area. On the left, right there is a beautiful beach.
How pretty.
We could check if there are any fish there.
Do you need a tower for that?
Definitely. You can see where your border runs by looking at the red boundary stones. That looks good.
That looks good. The speed is set to double. People in the chat are doubting it right now, but that's how it is. I'm playing at double speed right now. It's rather unusual by my standards, but we want to show you something in the limited time we have.
Otherwise, we can also talk about the fact that the farm has planted flax. And we could also do something with the flax if you want. There is a weaver, and he produces banners from flax.
Banners? Put it there. There's flax up front. Flax?
And the banners, I think that's pretty cool too. You can hang them on watchtowers and later on walls as well. And when a banner is hung up, it increases your defensive combat strength.
How nice. Many thanks to Lauf and Lauf for the 3rd subscription. Shout out to you. Thank you very much. Thanks again to Dodrino for the 28th and to Nabi for the 46th subscription. A big thank you to all of you. So, have we already finished the tower up front here? Is it ready? No?
Yes, I see that. The sawmill is slowly picking up speed now that the lumberjack can work a bit again. Because the second lumberjack, of course, still needs some time before it's built.
That's where it's being built. We'll just wait a little while faster than twice. It can't go at double speed. The tower is being built right here in front. Looks like it with my military. There's the barracks, still not finished either.
There it comes now, you see. You just saw in the UI that the last plank arrived and now it's been completed. And now you can also order soldiers.
Wonderful. But they need weapons, which we don't have yet. But that's what the weapons maker is for. That's the weapons maker, exactly. So, let's see, is there a good combo? An equal amount of each.
Yes, basically the infantry units counter each other. But that's why it makes sense to have a good mix of units for now, so I would just recommend 8 of each type.
Is there something like a slider that lets you build several at once?
Not yet, but I've already made a note of it. You mean shift click or something? Exactly.
In steps of 5 or in steps of 10?
There will also be, later on, right now you can set the numbers, but there will also be a slider system, so you can just set the percentages.
You can't even set more than 8, right?
Yeah, currently that's how it is with the weaponsmith, because he can only produce 8 out of 8 as well. But later you can set even more.
Alright. In the chat, someone is asking who is Sebastian, so the one asking the questions is not him, but the one answering the questions. A little tip? So,
There's also a question about whether you can set priorities for what gets built first. That's basically coming up next, because it's important to me that you can set priorities like that. Then you'll basically be able to set the priorities for the construction sites. In this case, it would have been good to be able to prioritize the woodcutter building, so that will be possible later. You'll also be able to prioritize production buildings to have more control.
but if weapons are being produced here now, yes. We probably have a statistic up there again where you can see how many weapons are already there. Here they're made very slowly. And that's the number of our people that we have.
And you can see right now swords are mainly being produced. They're back to 0 again because a soldier is recruited for each one right away. And you can also see that in the soldier UI where this little green arrow points upwards. It basically shows the history of the last few seconds, and you can see that there's an upward trend.
Great.
Pressing the G key closes it again, yes.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything to do at this stage besides waiting for weapons? What would make sense to do?
Next, we could produce copper coins to increase our attack strength. That might also be a good idea.
That's this one up front, right?
Yes.
Then we'll put it somewhere nearby. There we go.
And the cool thing is with the copper coins, they have several uses. That means you also have to think about what you actually want to use them for. On the one hand, you can use the copper coins at the harbor I mentioned earlier to recruit settlers. Yes, at the neutral ship that's sailing around here. But you can also use the copper coins to store them in the landmark. And when you store them in the landmark, it increases your attack strength.
All of this feels a little bit familiar to me from similar games of this kind. But maybe that's just a coincidence. No, seriously, there is a huge need, a huge demand from Settlers fans for Settlers-like games. Because the question is, has Ubisoft given up on the license by now? Or at least on making the games the way they used to? The last Settlers was a completely different game. That shifted toward a multiplayer RTS. That's actually really, really unfortunate. Maybe the name doesn't need to be on it. Dear folks, do you have any questions for Sebastian in the chat? We're currently waiting for the new weapons, then we'll go over and give our neighbors a cheerful hello. A good time to ask questions and get answers. I'll ask you again, do you think there will ever be a version for consoles beyond the PC version?
Of course, it would be really great if that were possible someday. But right now, it's basically a PC-first game, especially as a solo developer. I have to be careful about how I use my resources. But I could also imagine having a console version at some point in the future.
Slowly the troops are coming in here. We already mentioned that you're operating without a publisher. You had talks with different ones, but you weren't really satisfied, right?
That's right. So for about 1.5 to 2 years, I talked to various publishers, well-known publishers and investors, and I was already quite far along in negotiations with a few of them. Of course, I can't go into details now because all of that was under confidentiality agreements. Sometimes I was close to closing a deal, but because the gaming industry is currently very much in flux and there are a lot of restructurings, and especially as a solo developer who is currently doing this part-time without a track record and without a team, it's of course a bit difficult for me to get funding. And on the other hand, it's also important that in the end, it's a good deal for both sides. And that's why I decided to go a different route and am currently doing this part-time. And one more note, the tower down there by the fish is finished now, but there's still a soldier missing nearby.
To take over the area. No, then... But he should come over on his own, right?
He only comes when he's within the radius of the tower. You still need to send him near the tower so he'll enter, okay?
How do I find the soldiers when I'm looking for them? Just by their appearance? Or is there some kind of shortcut to select the next idle soldier? Okay.
That's already on my to-do list, so that will be added as well. But for now, basically, it's best if you look near the barracks. Otherwise, it's already in the game that you can create control groups. That means if you have soldiers and want to group them, you can press Control 1 or 2 or 3 to basically assign them to a control group. You can use shortcut 1, 2, or 3 for each assigned group to quickly select them and jump to them with the camera.
Yeah, it's clear. Produce fish. Or rather, we're not producing the fish, we're destroying them. Nature kindly produces the fish for us.
And you have to build it near a fishing spot now.
Where is that? Over there on the left, right?
Mm-hmm. If you zoom in there, you can also see the fish jumping out. Later, similar to the bears, I'll also add seagulls around the fish.
How pretty.
Now, basically, he's just jumping around because he has this auto placement enabled. If you hold control, it basically turns off the auto placement. Auto placement means that it basically looks for an area where it can place it for you. And if that annoys you, you can hold control and just override it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, right, I wanted to answer a few questions from the chat.
In the chat, people are asking about multiplayer, for example. They're asking again. And what kind of multiplayer?
There will be multiplayer for the 1.0 release. For the early access release, I'm currently focusing only on single player. And for multiplayer, there will be the usual features. So for example, you'll be able to play together with a friend against bots. So Everyone builds their own settlement, but you can join forces to play against the bot AI opponent. But later on, of course, you'll also be able to play multiplayer against other people, and there will also be team configurations, meaning you can assign people to teams and so on.
Which one? 3 basic units, military units that you can build. Are you planning to make the military system more detailed with any special upgrade units or siege units that might be added, or who knows what else?
Yes, at the village level, there will be level 2 infantry soldiers, meaning at higher levels, there will be swordsmen, spearmen, or axemen. And for that, you'll also need mines, so an iron production, and you'll be able to place the mines nicely on the mountain. You've already seen some mountains while walking with the soldiers. And then the mines will be able to be built nicely on the slope, and these mines will then produce coal, iron, and so on. And with that, you'll be able to produce higher quality swords and weapons in general. And later, for level 3 soldiers at the city level, you'll also need armor, and for that you'll need gold as well. And beyond that, at the village level, there won't just be archers, but also cavalry. And for the cavalry, you'll need a horse breeding facility, and you can also breed horses there. And at the city level, there will also be siege units. That means, for example, the Romans will have onagers that you can build to tear down stone walls or watchtowers. That means I'm already planning a pretty good collection of different units.
So we have a trumper. Do you think this group is enough to defeat neighbors, or is it only enough to lose? Yes.
That's 22 now. We might have a pretty good chance with a few more soldiers, but we need a lot more.
I have 12 more. I put 12 more into the production queue with their weapons.
I saw that you're now successfully increasing your attack power with the coins.
Where do you see that?
At the top, up there, you can see the sword symbol exactly. Then it's at 32%, and before it was at 0%. And that means, yeah, anything above 0% is already good. And then we can also wait a little bit there. I mean, you can already take a look at the starting landmark, the starting tower with the tent. Then we can stop by and see how many copper coins have been stored. If you scroll around there, if you turn the camera around there, the copper coins are placed behind the landmark. Look, a carrier is just placing one there right now. Exactly, you can count how many coins, coin crates are already there. What you see is what you get principle is great because everything, including all weapons, is visible in the game world.
This symbol up here with the defensive combat power, does that refer to buildings or also to people? Yes.
The defensive combat power is also for your army, and what's interesting is that the defensive combat power counts in your own territory. If you're attacked, this combat power applies to you. But if you are in foreign territory or outside your own territory, then the offensive combat power counts.
Am I right in assuming that this means you have to read it as a plus, and that means plus 37% or stronger attack? So that we don't just have 37% of the normal, but plus 37%.
Exactly 7, exactly, right. And you can also see on the towers now, you've already had a few banners diligently produced. There are suddenly banners hanging on the towers now.
They strengthen the defensive capability in case this tower is attacked, right?
They strengthen the global defensive combat power.
That means this up here will of course be increased as well.
Correct, yes.
And in the next step, the topic of the port will be addressed. We haven't shown that yet, have we? Yep.
It's under the house symbol, house category.
What does it produce?
He brings you new settlers in exchange for coins whenever a ship passes by.
Build the harbor outside, inside, or where?
You basically have to rotate it a bit now so that it's half in the water and half on land.
The building is this way, right? This is the building, and the pier goes underwater like this.
You need to watch the white arrow. That's the building entrance. It's right at your mouse pointer. Now turn it 90 degrees like that.
Better, I got it.
Exactly.
Alright. And if we spend the coins now for more people, we'll lose a bit of fighting power, right?
No, because the stored coins in the landmark, they're not used for that. They're fixed in there.
Okay. He worked hard. After that, we'll gather our soldiers and attack our opponent. Why? There's no reason. They haven't bothered us, they haven't harassed us, haven't provoked us, haven't insulted us, haven't taken anything from us. Just because. We do it because that's just what you do. People do that. People kill other people.
So if you click on the harbor now, you'll see when the next ship is coming by.
7 minutes.
Exactly. So it's going to take a little longer, which means we probably won't see the ship anymore.
Let's go on the attack. Have all the soldiers who signed up been recruited? Yes. Let's drag a big selection box.
You can assign a control group with Ctrl 1 if you want. Exactly, now each has a 1 above it, so you can quickly select them again if needed.
Already evenly distributed. Let's follow the stream.
Exactly, we're still at game speed 2, I know.
We're going a bit slower now. It takes some time to reach the top, but we also want to uncover more of the beautiful landscape.
On the right, you can see part of a lake. Fish will be available if you expand that way.
Nice view down. We're by some river. What's a bit confusing is that if you click on something with a movement command where you can't walk, they don't move at all. As an alternative, I think it would be practical if they would at least move in that direction.
That's right, yes. They're breaking out on the right. Do you still need to catch them?
No.
Or they took another route and found a way across the river. There's also a sign for the shallow passage back there. Well, now we have another pathfinding bug. They'll show up again in a moment.
They're somehow underground, right? Is it possible that they built a tunnel, or are they swimming?
They're basically swimming. They've packed a wooden snorkel with them.
Unbelievable. Now we've got everyone, though. We players like to laugh when pathfinding in strategy games has problems, and we think that developers who can't get it right are just totally dumb. But it's a bit tricky, isn't it?
Pathfinding is basically the final boss for a developer making a strategy game because there are just so many scenarios where soldiers can get stuck. Exactly. That's why I try to make this work, but now you can see one on the right getting stuck again. He'll catch up eventually. It's just that in a game world like the one I'm offering here, which is anything but flat with lots of details and lots of rocks and trees and everything, of course, there are also many sources of errors that can creep in. And right, the pathfinding itself is not optimal yet, and it keeps getting improved. But you can also see in large teams with big games that there are sometimes problems with pathfinding, so it's really a very tricky topic.
Will civilians also be attacked, or only combat units if we want that?
Only combat units are attacked. You also can't attack civilian buildings. That means...
If I say move forward and attack, nothing happens, they're just bystanders.
Exactly.
But up there, we could attack him if we got there, right? Well, he is.
Cleverly built. We can't attack that tower, it's there, but that's not a problem. We just have to basically capture the landmark
How was it built?
I'm wondering that too, yeah. So the thing is, actually, the AI opponent shouldn't even be able to build in there, but there's basically still a query error in the mountain logic.
We're in foreign territory dancing around.
If you want to select them now, you can also press 1 now that you've set them in the control group.
Dancing along the line of stones here. We've lost the path a bit. We have to go up there.
No, I think going left is actually pretty good. Or what? Where are you? No, actually, it's fine. I think you're on the right track.
Now we're sliding up and down the mountainside and we're already attacking that. Does that get attacked automatically? That's a tower.
That's a tower, yes, you can attack it. You can also see that a few are already coming, grabbing onto the gate there, and now the fight is about to start. And thanks to your strong combat power, you were able to capture the tower right away.
Oh, it's been captured. Did I just lose a unit that's inside there?
Right, but you can also demolish the tower to get the unit back if you want.
Did I just conquer some territory?
Now you've taken territory, that's right. The territory then transfers to you.
Okay, but we don't want to conquer, we want to destroy. We're not the kind of people who conquer foreign empires to make life better for the locals. We just want to... We're like the Mongols, just without horses. Wouter doesn't play in the final version called the First Explorers, but the First Mongols. What's surprising is that we can't actually see that far in terms of visibility.
Would you recommend a higher visibility range?
Generally, yes, or at least I'd like a scout unit that can scout ahead. But it's a bit like feeling your way forward, like with a flashlight.
I'll take that feedback with me, I like it.
I'll ask, do you want the units to have increased line of sight? Do you think the EWB is talking nonsense? That's exactly right. They're saying in the chat that it's fine like this. So somewhere around here we need to find the enemy's main base, right? A whole lot of small ones, but where is their army?
Maybe he kind of showed a bit of leniency and mainly put all the soldiers into the towers.
I'll just attack one tower. Who was attacked? No, I'm attacking.
But I see a landmark back there.
Wow, there are a lot of towers here. There's a tower next to the next one, right?
He just wanted to hang up many banners to boost combat strength.
And planes. We'll tear it down. So we're looking for the big Starkturm. It's built pretty close together here. If we capture and destroy one, does the soldier riding it die too?
No, the soldier is basically available for you again.
Available for me? No, but the soldier from the opponents, the one who was stuck in there. When we capture a tower like that, whether the soldier who was inside, whether the one who captures it somehow survives or gets massacred.
No, he doesn't survive. He gets massacred. Yes. And now the tower up there is basically being captured as well.
We've captured several.
The landmark is being attacked, so you'll win soon.
So where is the landmark then?
You've won now. You were there with the tents, and now you've won.
Won once, wonderful. That's it already. Well, that was a rather weak resistance, but you should celebrate victories as they come and not complain about them. This is the first Explorers, and the game will be released, let's see, at some point. It depends on whether Sebastian has to keep working his day job, or if he eventually gets so much money from people that he can say, hey, I'll become a full-time developer. Would you be interested in being a full-time developer, full-time development?
In principle, I would definitely be interested in full-time development. Ideally, if the funding allows, with 2 or 3 more people as well.
In a team. It was a lot of fun. Link to the Steam store on Twitch. Please post it again. It's also pinned at the top, and on YouTube there's a text description below in the first pinned comment if I remember to do that as well. There you can safely close the game. You'll get plenty of information about the game, and of course you'll find out when it goes into early access, that's planned, and so on and so forth. Thanks to Sebastian for being there.
Thank you very much, WB, and everyone here, and I'm glad that it was well received and that we managed to have a good match.